All right, we're live.
Happy Halloween! Spooky episode.
Spooky episode. One day before Halloween, I guess.
Yeah,
Or isn't
basically, yeah.
Halloween All Hallows Eve? So this is All Hallows Eve, I guess. I don't
I
know.
guess so.
I don't know.
Does that make November 1st All
Hallows?
Hallows?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, right?
I don't know. Or is it supposed to be like the eve of All Hallows? So tomorrow is All Hallows, and the eve is just the evening time of it.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I don't know what the actual Halloween is, honestly, as we know it. So,
It's when the great pumpkin rises from the pumpkin patch
mhm.
and gives all the good boys and girls candy,
Oh,
right?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds
Isn't that,
right.
is that what happened? It's been a while since I watched that special.
Yeah, yeah. It's been forever since I've seen that one.
It's a good one, solid one for sure.
Yeah, I love Halloween specials. It's one of my favorite things about this time.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like speaking of which, so my plans for tomorrow include like playing Luigi's Mansion and
Yeah.
watching the Hey Arnold and Danny Phantom Halloween specials.
Okay.
Because over the last few months I bought those whole series on DVD and I was like,
Okay.
I'm gonna watch the Halloween specials for sure.
Yeah.
Um
So are
and
those
then
your favorite, or is that
no, those are just like I just bought those in the
okay?
last few months, so it's like might as well watch the Halloween specials from those.
Sure. Yeah,
Because
I
I
was kind of
haven't in
wondering
in
why.
years.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
We
I
then also go to a, I think I told John about this last week. Um, there's like a rich neighborhood in town that closes off their streets for kids to go trick or treating in.
okay.
And then they also have awesome, awesome Halloween decorations in the yards. And we like to walk around there and just see the cool Halloween decorations and all the costumes and stuff like that. Because in the area I'm in, it's like just like, 20, 30-year olds, like no one's trick or treating around here.
Yeah.
Um, so to be part of it at all, I have to go elsewhere. But what about you? What are your Halloween plans?
um. I. So, I mean, it's video game related. I think a bunch of us are gonna play that GTFO alpha because it's open tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're gonna check that out. Otherwise, it's probably just going to be pretty standard. Watch Halloween episode stuff. I was gonna ask you if you know what your favorite series has a Halloween thing, because weirdly enough, Boy Meets World has an amazing Halloween episode.
Okay.
Uh,
I can't think of the Boy Meets World off the top of my head. I'm sure I've seen it, but Boy Meets World is just a fantastic show.
it's like they all are in detention or whatever, and then they slowly
Oh
start dying one by
yes.
one.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
remember that. It's when they're like preteens or teens, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's not when they're children for sure. It's like
Yeah, or
somewhere in
like
the
a
middle.
or did it end when they like finished college?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah, I
right.
wanna say, like, they were, like, graduating college, and they were about to, like, leave to go, like, to New York or whatever, so that was, like, them
Yeah, yeah.
saying goodbye to Mr. Feeney.
Oh, heartbreaking. Can't stand it. It's the worst every time. I've seen it
Feeney!
a couple
Feeney!
times.
Feeney! It's a fantastic show.
It's yeah, very good. So that is a good Halloween episode. Of course, the Treehouse of Horrors is just fantastic every time.
Sure,
Depending,
there's so many of them, though. Do you have,
there's
like a preferred?
um, I don't remember. So we actually a bunch of us watched the first six recently again, and the first couple are iconic, I'll say, but I think they had some stinkers in there. Like there's the King Kong skit, which is just like, why is this in a fucking Halloween thing? This is just boring. Um, but I think it might have been specifically Treehouse of Horrors 4 or 5 or something was just absolutely phenomenal. I kind of want to
Again,
watch
it's
more
been
of
so
them
long, I
again.
can't think of any of them. Do they
Yeah,
still do like one every season?
they do. They're up to like 30, I think.
Or are they at season 30? That sounds about right.
So we were looking this up. The only one that they haven't had a Treehouse of Horrors for was year 1. They started, so however many years the Simpsons have been running, they're -1 for how many horror
Okay,
versions there are, whatever horror
sure.
thing.
It's been a long time since I watched The Simpsons.
Yeah, but those are fun usually. I'm trying to think. I really like the older South Park Halloween episodes. I think are pretty good. At least they hold a special place in my heart. Whether or not they're good is arguable, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like we're gonna watch like some of the Office ones.
The Office ones are pretty good. Yep.
Those ones are pretty good. Yeah, I mentioned the two that like I'm kind of bringing to the table. I can't think of any other specific ones off the top of my head.
Community ones are pretty good, actually. If
Never
you're a
watched
fan.
Community.
Oh, okay. Those are pretty good.
All right.
I feel like
But yeah,
there's
no, I
something
agree
else,
with you.
but yeah.
Anytime a show does like a themed episode, that's always fun to like go back to.
Yeah,
Um, and for like games as well, which we'll get into in a bit. I love when games do Halloween events
for sure.
and
Yep.
whatnot. Or even like when a game comes out that's Halloween based, like Costume Quest.
Around
Man, that
Halloween.
was
Yeah.
yeah, that was so nice.
Costume Quest is so good.
It
Ugh.
is good. Yeah. That is also like the free game on Epic tomorrow, which is like the perfect time.
That makes sense. Yep. That sounds right.
Okay, so John's not here. He's on his like 2-week long work stream trip
Right.
making content, capital C content.
Yeah, capital C.
Um, but let's get into it. At this point, this is the top down perspective, and I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I don't think I said the date. It's October 30th, spooky Halloween episode. So lots of scares all throughout the
Yeah.
episode. You got to stay tuned for all the scary ghosts we got
All the
planned.
thrills and
Yep.
chills, I think.
Yeah,
is
there's
what
going to
how
be
the-
tons of them.
Yeah.
You're not gonna know when they're coming. You might
Yeah.
not even know when they happened.
Yep.
That's
That's
yeah, that's
very
how
true.
hidden they're gonna be.
That's
Yeah,
part of the horror, honestly.
that's true. You're
Yeah.
gonna finish this episode and you're gonna be so scared because you don't even know how scared you should be
Right, exactly.
because you didn't feel scared, but
Yeah.
it's there, it's in there.
Yeah, subconsciously.
Yeah, just got to listen to the episode twice and all the ads.
Yep, all of them. Make sure you hit every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you you've been gone for 2 weeks.
I
So
have,
why don't you
yeah.
talk about what you've been playing?
So the first week, I'll just straight up say it was kind of like, I'll call it a work trip, but it was actually more like a family trip. I was with family, so I didn't play
Right.
anything that whole week, essentially. Also, I'm sick, so my voice is shitty. I apologize in advance.
Ooh, spooky!
My spooky voice. Ooh. So the big thing is, of course, Destiny 2 is still a thing. The reason I'm talking about it now is because the Halloween event is specifically what I've been playing like yesterday and today. And
Can anyone play the Halloween event, or do you have to have?
you can. It's $7.50 minimum, so anybody can at this point.
And that's the new 0, right?
That's the new 0. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so I could play it. How do you get
You
access
can.
to it?
So if you go to the main city, the tower or whatever, there's just like a giant Halloween tree, I'll say, with like a character that looks.
Ah, yes, the traditional Halloween tree that we each have in our living rooms this time of year.
Have you seen that Halloween special? I think it's literally called the Halloween tree. That's a
From
good
what?
one. I don't know. It's just a cartoon movie from like years and years ago.
Oh no, I've never heard of this.
Okay, it's good.
I'm just talking about my personal Halloween tree I keep in, that I hang
Right.
ornaments and bats on during the month of
Okay.
October.
I'm being corrected. It's 770 light, not 750. So you have to do a little bit more than like
Okay.
turn on the game essentially to play it.
All right. Well,
Um,
we'll see what I can put together.
yeah. So what it is, and this is probably gonna sound Greek to people who don't know what like anything about Destiny, is it's one of the I strikes from before from Mercury, I believe, where it's called the Forest or whatever, and what it is just a bunch of Vex, which are the mechanical enemies in the game. They have a bunch of like platforms and shit that you fight your way through, and then you finish off with like a boss thing. So what this is that it's just that but
Sounds
dark.
like a video game.
Yeah, it's just that but like darkened, and you have a certain amount of time to just do it and see how many times you can loop, basically how many times you can get to the end and fight the boss. um and yeah, that's all it is. It's super basic and it's kind of samey, but the thing about the event that I like is that you have a mask for a helmet, and then you can change the look of that mask to like different mask types or whatever. So right now my character has the like jade bunny, the jade rabbit face. So it's just kind of cute seeing a bunch of guardians with like masks collecting candy and whatnot in Destiny 2. It's just kind of fun.
Right
Um,
on. I mean, hey, like free content. Like, what?
free
Why would you
content.
complain?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, no, it's totally fun. It's
It's
been
cool.
pretty good. I've been trying to think of, or I've been visiting other games here and there with their updates, because there's kind of been like Halloween updates for the last month or so. I
Yeah.
just didn't really talk about them on here because they're whatever. Like Killing Floor 2. Of course they're gonna have an October Halloween update. They've had one every single year that they've existed, and it's usually pretty good. Siege has had a Halloween update this year that was kind of like a it's like a the attackers turn into hunters, like monster hunters, and the defenders are like monsters that are using different abilities to slow down or like take out the like demon hunters, rather, not monster hunters, like demon hunters, to take them out and like hide from them. And yeah, it's kind of fun. It's melee only. There's no guns at all in it. It's that all the demon hunters have like various forms of like giant hammers or mauls or whatever to smack the demons with, and then the demons have like basic versions of whatever their thing is. Like there's frost traps here and there. She's one of the choices that you can choose. Legion mines, there's legion mines everywhere. Just stuff like that. It's fun for a little bit, and then it becomes real samey. Like it's one of the things that is really cool about Siege is its gunplay. So taking that out kind of sucks, but it's kind of a
It's
cute
just
little
like a
thing.
limited time thing, though. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's a
big
cute
deal.
little thing for sure.
I played the Apex Halloween event a few weeks back,
Okay.
and I
Yep.
wasn't really into it.
Uh.
What they did is, and it's still going. Um, Everyone's solo, so I'm already not interested because like the
Oh.
stress level just increases, and I'm like,
Sure.
but as soon as you die, you become a zombie, which is a melee only enemy that can run really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then once, and it's a less amount of people, so there's like 35 instead of 60. And then
Mm-hmm.
once there's only 10 heroes left, they all form a team and have to get to an evac point, similar to like the Titanfall multiplayer.
Yeah.
Um, and they and all the and everyone knows where the evac point is, so all the zombies will kind of like head that way as well, and they have to just try and get onto the ship so they can escape all the zombies. But
Okay.
it kind of just turned into like everyone's playing like Wraith or Pathfinder that can just move fast or have the hook shot. And like the
Uh.
one time I won as the hero was I just slowly like hid and crept my way towards the evac. And then when it was there, I just opened up Wraith's portal and Invisa walked my way over there to win. And I was like, this wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah.
But different mode, so why not?
Yeah. Sure. Something a little bit different. I'm trying to remember. There's something. I'm actually trying to look it up. Oh, I. It feels a little like weird to say it, but whatever. I'm one of the dudes who still likes the Overwatch Halloween thing. So I know Blizzard has been under fire recently, but I enjoy that. So I played a little bit of
Oh,
that.
you played some Overwatch? Okay.
A little bit. It's the same
Yeah.
as it usually is. Their Junkenstein thing.
Yeah, I haven't played Overwatch in a while. I'll jump back on when Overwatch 2 comes out,
Pretty much, yeah.
next
Uh-huh.
year or whatever.
Yeah. Uh, I guess the other small thing, just that I want to mention for me, is I've been playing Pokemon Go kind of on and off again the last month or so,
Just getting
and
ready for Sword and Shield.
I guess so. I don't know why, honestly. Um, and it's just really cute to see Pikachu in his little Mimikyu costume. It's really, really adorable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right on.
But for like, so that's kind of the Halloween version of the video game talks or whatever. The big thing I've been playing is Outer Worlds because
Yeah, let's talk about it. The big game of the week.
yeah, I'm gonna preface this by saying wasn't expecting much. I know objectively that Fallout New Vegas is better than Fallout 3, but I didn't like New Vegas at all because I don't like the setting of it. But I knew Obsidian could do, like, I knew that they had chops, but they kind of knocked it out of the park for me on this. It's crazy how much I like this game. Um,
Sure, let me
so
let me tag on to that. I'm also way into it.
yeah,
And let me give kind of my background with Fallout games. I don't
okay,
really like them. They don't really work for me. I played a
okay.
bit of New Vegas. I played a bit of 3, and then I got every single possible achievement in the PC version of Fallout 3. So maybe I love that game because like I did even the expansions, I got all the achievements on that as well.
I really like
Took me
Fallout 3. Yeah.
20 minutes, got all 1700 of them.
Oh wow.
Boom.
Okay.
Because you can just open up the console on that game and just unlock every achievement for yourself. So why not?
I see. Sure, gotcha. I mean, I really like that one. I just don't like the setting in New Vegas, even though it's objectively like it plays better. Um, so I guess first of all, for anybody who doesn't know what this is first of all the Outer Worlds, not Wilds. This is a problem that's been happening a bit that I've seen around socials and stuff, mainly because they're like one letter apart. um, what it is essentially Fallout in space, but with a little bit of Borderlands mixed in, I suppose. I would say it's mostly like what you would probably expect from like a Fallout game or whatever. Where you play a character that wakes up from cryo sleep for reasons from a mad doctor and kind of get thrown into this world or whatever. I guess first of all, one of the things that really struck me that I need to talk about is in these type of games, I'm used to companions just kind of being fodder or whatever. The companions are fucking great in this game.
They're so good. That's which is why I think I'm like I wanted to say if I was gonna like compare this to two games, kind of like how you just did, the one I'm hearing a lot and that I would side with is obviously
Mass
Fallout
Effect.
and then Mass Effect.
Totally.
What's the Borderlands side you're getting? Because there's not really loot, like
Just
colored loot and stuff.
no, not the loot part. Just kind of how like the overworld stuff and like going to different planet. Like it's not a giant open world like Fallout games are. It's kind of more like broken up
Oh, I see.
into like different
Like
areas or whatever.
areas. Okay.
Yeah.
Which again, I mean, Mass Effect did that as well, right?
Yep.
That was just
Yep.
broken up into areas for the most
True.
part. But yeah, no, the companions are fantastic. I'm only, I want to say about 5 hours in. I'm just about to leave the first planet.
Okay, so you've done
So
like all of those weird quests on that
I
planet.
did the first one, did the first big decision, which we should talk about.
Okay.
Um, but like, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Parvati,
Yeah, that's
the
how I've been
first one you
pronouncing
get,
it.
she's so good.
Oh my
Like, I
god,
just
she's so good.
I
She's
love
Kaylee
that
from
character,
Firefly.
and
I
it's
love her.
it's Ashley Birch.
Is it really? Wow.
That's the voice actress. So like, hell yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay. Impressive. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of Firefly in this game actually for people that were a fan of that show. Like, there's a lot of your ship is called the Unreliable, and like there's a lot of parts of that ship that directly feel like they're from the Serenity. It's weird.
I mean, also like this game's funny. You're captain of
Yeah.
the Unreliable. That's
You're
that's just funny.
The writing in this is very tongue in cheek and very good. Um, yeah, no, the humor in this game is on point for sure.
It's
They
definitely
got it
working for
down.
me, and I like
Yeah,
not even from like a not just from a comedy standpoint, but also from like a well thought out standpoint. And I want to speak specifically to the like dialogue trees you can go down,
yeah,
because I feel like for the most part you'll get like 3 or 4 reactions to anything,
yeah,
and they are completely different, and they can straight up just be like, "I don't give a shit about what you just said, I'm leaving." Like, you can
yeah,
just be like, you can be an asshole if you wanted to, or just like, This is boring, I'm gone."
yeah,
Which I'm not doing that, I'm playing like my typical, like, nice person, but there's like every time someone says something, I'm thinking like, "Oh, I would wanna know about this." For the most part, that's one of the options, or they'll have, like, different variations of like, "Oh, wait, I should definitely probably ask about that," like, it and, like, persuading them, like, that's super fun. I love that you get experience for using your dialogue
yeah.
traits,
Yep.
which actually I like and I dislike. The one reason I say I dislike it is I feel like it's forcing me to select that, even if I
Oh,
wouldn't want to, because it's like, well, I could say what I actually wanna say, or I could get 700 experience points by lying to you.
yeah. I always like going. So in these games, it's weird. I've always liked doing the dialogue. I mean, upgrades or whatever you would call it, like charisma in the older games, and in this, it's just kind of like the three different things: persuade, intimidate, and like lie, I guess, or
Lie is the other one,
whatever.
yeah.
Um, I've always liked doing those for interesting dialogue options, and this game has made it kind of overpowered in a lot of ways to you have those dialogue options unlocked because they'll just get you out of trouble or get people to do shit for you that like rather than have to like the last thing I did, I'm not gonna get into specifics, but basically I got a bounty to like just kill a dude like that's been causing trouble, and all I did was like talk my way through everything I wanted. Then I saw like something in his like little area that I wanted, so I took it right in front of his eyes, like their eyes or whatever. And then when they confronted me about it, I just said, "Yeah, I'm taking it. What are you gonna do about it?" And they're like, "Okay, just don't get me in trouble." And they like walk
Right, yeah,
away.
you
Like,
can just, like, persuade your way out of everything.
yeah, it's super overpowered in this game, so
But I
that's kind
kinda
of
like
neat.
that, like,
Yeah,
that is there's a element of fun to that. I
yeah.
have heard in relation to the combat, it's very easy,
Mm.
at least on normal, which is what I'm playing.
The combat. I started on hard, and I was getting fucked. I was getting
So I've
so
heard
fucked.
hard is definitely kind of the way to go if you're wanting,
Yeah.
like a more tuned experience. I just did normal, and the combat's easily, like, my least favorite part. Like, until I got a assault rifle, I
Yeah,
hated the combat. Like,
I agree.
I thought the pistols were terrible. I got a shotgun finally, and I was like, "Sweet," and it was
And
somehow worse than the pistols.
it sucks. Yep. Yep.
Then I got an assault rifle that completely changed things. However, I'm dumping, like, no, uh skill points into my weapons. I'm doing it all into speech. I'm doing it all into like medication because I think whatever the medication one is like also like the hacking one, the engineer one. I think they're like combined or something like that.
I think so.
But
Yeah.
I'm also doing that one, and then I'm doing the leadership one because then it just makes my companion really good at fighting.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I can just like hang back and like pop assault rifle bullets from far away while my companion's just wrecking shit.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I just talk my way out of everything. And I love it. It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's really cool. And for people that like don't want to do the companion route, there's actual ways to like make being a lone wolf stronger, like being considerably stronger if you want to go that way. Like you have perks and stuff that are just do this if you're like without companions or whatever. It's like, okay, well,
I can't imagine why you would ever not want to play with the companions.
I think you're doing yourself a disfavor if you do play without companions in this game, because they are very good and they're interesting. But
Like, and
the
I've
options
only
there.
encountered one. Well, I guess I've technically encountered two. I haven't unlocked the priest to use him yet, but he's on my ship.
Okay.
I've just been told from everything I'm hearing, all the companions are, or not all of them, but the companions are great.
Uh-huh.
And it almost feels to me like a Mass Effect 3 scenario of that one character that was like a pre-order bonus that ended up being like one of the most interesting ones. What was his name? Um,
It was
he
the
was from the like,
Prothean. Yeah.
yeah, from like the previous race.
Yeah. I can't remember his
And
name.
yeah, but if you just like brought him on any mission, he would just give you like fun facts about like stuff
Javik.
that you would never have heard and what stuff like that. And it was like, holy smokes! Like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm not taking you out of my party. You are so cool to have around. And I
Yeah.
feel the exact same way about these companions.
Also, these companions like have quests that if you actually talk to them, and even they'll even like stop you every now and then and just be like, "Hey, listen, I think this," and you're just like, "Okay," or like whatever. Or if you talk to them, they'll have like quests that you can do for them or
They'll
whatever.
also chime in during conversations with other people,
Yeah.
or other NPCs will like address them and stuff, which is cool as well.
Yep. It's super surprising to me because I'm not used to companions being worth anything in these games. Maybe like at the very best, a companion is like a good like meat shield for me in these games of like just taking aggro or something, or like helping me kill something. But like they actually made a reason for these companions to exist in this world, and it's like phenomenal. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Uh
there's also like loyalty missions basically, which is
yeah.
straight out of like Mass Effect 2.
Yep.
So like even though it plays like a Fallout game, it's like maybe this is the Mass Effect Andromeda we've been waiting for. It
Yeah.
was here.
Yep.
Like it is scratching that itch, and so far I feel like it is, cuz like I am interested in this super weird world. We should
Yep.
um we should talk about that first decision. Uh
Okay. It's not really
so like
spoilery, so we can talk about
I
it
guess
pretty
it's like
decent.
technically slight spoilers because it is like a cool pivotal moment, but again, it's less than 5 hours into the game.
Yeah,
Um
it's real soon.
Yeah. Uh, like, I knew it was coming because
Yeah.
they kind of set you on the 2 sides
Yeah.
pretty early on. I had no idea what I was gonna pick
Oh,
up until the last
I was
moment.
100% sure immediately.
Which one
So
did you pick?
for I'm going to give a little bit of context. So you're
Sure.
thrown into
Yeah.
this world, and basically there's an oppressive regime of like a corporation, because this is the future and corporations kind of own everything. So there's like people working at a cannery, and like
They're all
their
getting
whole
sick, they all keep getting the plague.
yeah.
But they're not allowed to get, like, medicine unless they, like, work harder and stuff. So they're
Yeah.
kinda like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's like toxic work environment 101. Every problem is just like thrown there as like what's going on here. And then the others, so this is the city or whatever. Then the other side are like the outsiders, the deserters, I think is actually what they're referred to
Yep.
as. And the deserters are happy and healthy, living out in the middle of nowhere, at an old botanical laboratory, led by this old lady. And they are not sick because they're eating more than gross fucking tuna all the time, so they're not catching the plague. And like they're kind of just out there. Basically, fuck the man. I took down the cannery because fuck them all. Holy shit.
So, I mean, that's the definitely, like, the way the game kind of points you towards,
Yeah.
but then Parvati at the end just throws, like, a wrench, like, just you know what you know what I mean?
Yeah, where
I
she's
mean,
just
I'm
like, I grew up here, and they're like good, hardworking people.
yeah, she's
Just
basically like, right before you make your decision, Parvati's like, "Hang on 1 sec, I, like" before you make your decision, like, there's a because what you need to choose to do is take power from one of them,
yeah,
which will force the other one to basically, like, move into wherever the power is. So you have to
yeah,
destroy kind of one of their homes, and then and you're kind of choosing who the new leader is gonna be.
sure.
Um, so Parvati's like, these are just like hardworking people. Like if you take their power, you're going to be kind of sticking it to the man, but there's a lot of innocent people there too that
Yeah,
are
fuck
just
them.
trying to like get by. And it was like, oh man, what are
Yeah.
you doing to me? Come
there
on.
and there's a lot of ways that whole thing can even play out, which is also fascinating. There's two like options, but there's different ways it can play out as well. It's real cool. I really liked it. Also, I like
It
the
is.
fact that after I did the thing, I came back, looked that like smug fucker Thompson in the eyes, and was just like, "Tell your men to stand down. I don't want blood all over my fucking power converter." And there's like, okay.
So I did the other one. I took it away from the
Oh,
deserters.
oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause like I said, I was on the fence the whole time, and then Pravati said that thing to me, and I'm like, "You're right. Like this sucks." But I ended up kind of getting like a best of both worlds. Is then after that, um, you can go back to Abigail, the leader of the deserters,
Uh,
and at that point, that's when she told me how she's able to grow vegetables. Did you learn about this?
no, I don't think so. Anyway.
Would you like me to tell you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so again, if these are things you don't want to hear about, skip ahead a bit. So the reason she's able to grow other food and they're able to eat other things than tuna is that Abigail has been grinding up corpses to use as fertilizer,
Oh, okay.
which is
Yeah.
messed up. And she's like, I'm still not going back there if Reed's there. And they're like, okay, well, I'll tell Reed to stand down. So you have to go to Reed and be like, look, Abigail's people are healthy. She's made vegetables. And he's like, that's impossible. The ground has been ruined. There's no good soil here. And you can choose to tell him what she's doing, or if there's a lie check where you can be like, I don't know, man, she has vegetables. And I did the lie check because I felt
Yeah.
like if I told him she's using corpses, he would not stand down. But because I lied, he's like, wow, she deserves this place more than I will step down.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So it was like a best
Interesting.
of both worlds scenario, right? So not so
That
I
is
took the power from
interesting.
the deserters, but now the deserters get to be in charge of the city, which was
Yeah,
super interesting.
that is
But
super
she was saying
interesting.
stuff like, "They've got that cemetery, there's gonna be bodies forever." It's like, "You're insane. You are a
Yep.
crazy person who are feeding humans to humans,
Yep.
ma'am." Um, it's cool. It was such like I just loved how, like, it had me paralyzed, the decision for the longest time. Like, I kept thinking about it. I was like, "I know it's coming. I don't know which one's better to do," and that's really cool that the game was able to do that.
Yeah, it's a super cool game for sure. I really, really enjoy it so far.
And Game Pass, like, hell
Yeah,
yeah, Game Pass.
yeah, exactly. Day one available. Yeah, no, I'm just blown away by this game, honestly. Like I can't it's not very often that I can just like really just be like not fine. I have this problem where when I'm playing a game, even if I really like it, I start noticing flaws in it that like are like detract a little bit, not too much to like stop my enjoyment usually. And I was really expecting for this to be a little more buggy, we'll say. And now I'm just mad that every Bethesda Fallout has been a buggy mess because this has been fine. There hasn't been any issues
There
I've
is
had.
something kind of fun about, like, the week this came out, all that Fallout 76 stuff came
Oh
out.
my god. Perfect advertisement for this
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
So, I'm really happy it worked so well for Obsidian
Yeah.
because they haven't done a Fallout game for a bit, but they were like, "No, no, watch what we can do." And it's just, like, knocking out of the park, holy smokes.
Yeah. It's so good. People definitely need
And
to check
also,
it
this
out.
is the first game from Microsoft's new, like, acquisitions from all the developers they bought that has come
Okay.
out. So, like, I hope the quality just, like, keeps going, like, if Microsoft's clearly given them money because 'cause they're buying them,
Yep.
and for at least for this one, like, it must have gone to the right place because this is a good game. I wouldn't say the game is super polished. I'm getting, some annoyances on the Xbox version, specifically a lot of texture pop in, but also
Mm.
even when I'm just running to areas, the game will just, like, halt, and I'll get, like, a loading circle in the middle for it
Oh.
to continue again, which I haven't seen that in a game in a long time. Like, there's usually something there to, like, slow my character down so it can load the next area. But no, it'll just, like, freeze the game as it loads the while whatever's gonna be ahead of me. which
Weird.
is pretty annoying. I also somewhat hate fast traveling because it'll often require
Mm,
me to like exit the town,
yeah.
load up the map, which loading up the map takes a long time, scrolling through the map, which that's weirdly slow, and then selecting the area to then fast travel to. So that's two loading screens plus the map loading. So like
Yeah.
three loads, and they're all long. I don't know what's
Weird.
going on. Like part of me's thinking like I got an Xbox One X. Is something going wrong? Do I need to like restart the console? There's no way this because I've been hearing none of these complaints.
Yeah, no. On PC, none of these exist. None of these
Yeah,
issues.
this is weird. I
Except
wasn't
for
expecting.
I don't like going out into the main world to open a map to fast travel. I do wish you could fast travel from anywhere, but I'm kind of
Yeah,
whatever
you have
on
to
that
leave
one.
the town. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Destiny 2 I do have these issues you're talking about of like I'm just like riding through and then I'm just stopped and it's like loading. It's like,
Oh,
okay.
really? I don't think I've had that for Destiny
That's so
on my
weird.
PS4 Pro.
Huh. Interesting.
But yes, but I've gotten it a lot on this game, which is definitely weird for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm quite taken with it, which I was surprised because Fallout games don't typically do much for me.
Yeah.
Um, it is definitely a game that I'm like constantly just like, how can I get more free time? Well, what if I wake up like half an hour earlier? I just need to play more of this game.
Yeah.
And
Um
that's exciting.
I do feel like I think they probably want to push you into you being a leadership role in this game because you're right. The worst part about it to me is the combat. And like the thing that makes the combat quote unquote good really is that you have this ability to slow down time and then depending when you're in it, if you hit certain parts, you can cause certain status effects, which helps like your companions just rip them apart. So like everything about this really feels like it's tuned to you being kind of an overlord sort of thing of like a captain of a ship, go figure. Um and I guess I'm okay with that. I do like the best way for anybody who hasn't played this game yet to understand what problems I have with the combat. Think about like the Fallout games combat without VATS. Like,
Well, the thing you just talked about is pretty similar to VATS, except instead of it being like a menu of body parts to shoot at,
mm,
it's just quite slowed down. But
it's
I mean,
slowed
that
down,
part
yeah.
is kind of similar to VATS, right?
Mm, I mean, no, because there's no like choosing a body part and then like unloading into it with action points and stuff like that. Like,
Well, in this scenario, the way you're choosing the body part is put the reticle over that body part, then hold down the trigger.
yeah, but it doesn't last as long either. I don't
Right,
know.
but
I
that's
don't
something
like
you
this
can
system.
upgrade.
Yeah, I just don't like this system at all. I thought
Okay.
VATS was okay, but like I don't like this. What's it called? QTT or something?
I
Something
don't even
time.
remember. It's like a drug thing though that you shoot
Yeah,
like a drug.
yeah. Oh, also healing, like huffing gas essentially every time to heal is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, all the stuff you're getting is like being broken down into some kind of
Yeah,
inhaler,
yeah,
which is weird, but
yep,
sure. I also like the look of the game. Everything's like, at least on the first planet, everything's like red.
yep.
That's pretty cool. Like it's a cool looking game for sure.
It is a very cool looking game. It's super good. God, I just want to like keep gushing about it, but we should move on.
Then we'll talk about some games I've been playing. I'll quickly mention Borderlands 3. I should have done this earlier because I just played the Halloween event. That's all I was really going to bring up.
Okay, so what are
Um,
they doing for Halloween?
so they have it's like three quests that you can just kind of keep repeating for the loot grind.
Uh,
The first two suck because they're basically like just go out in the world and some enemies will be haunted, which means when you kill them, a floating skull will come at you, and then if you shoot the skull, you can pick up a little collectible. So the first one is get one of the collectibles. The second one is get 25 of the collectibles. At that point, this weird dinosaur creature on your ship will open up a portal to Heck,
okay.
and then Heck is a weird Halloween area, um, where you can fight your way through. And at the end of it, you battle. oh, what is that guy's name? It's a boss, and I don't remember his name whatsoever. Um, but that was a cool boss fight. Um, and the area was cool with all Halloweened up and whatnot. So that was just I was happy to see a Halloween event because it's free new area, free new boss, free content. So that was fun.
Yep.
I've also been playing a game. This also came out on Game Pass last week called Lonely Mountains Downhill.
Yes, it did. There's another game. There's another bike game, so I can't remember which one this is.
Right. Yeah, we talked about the other one before
Mhm.
briefly that was more of like a roguelike bike game.
Descenders? Is that right?
Yes, that's what it was. I
Okay.
wasn't a huge fan of Descenders.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I feel like Lonely Mountains is what I would have wanted from Descenders. Descenders, I don't really like a lot of the levels because that's behind the back, and then some of the stages are like, do you remember like the? Did you play Descenders?
I didn't know.
Okay, some of there's like different types of stages, and one of them's like a weird open one. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of how Descenders works. Lonely Mountains, I would recommend over Descenders for sure. Lonely Mountains is an isometric game where you are biking. Was the other one biking? Yeah, it was mountain biking.
Yep.
Um, you're biking down a mountain. There's like 7 checkpoints you can go across. The controls they take a while to get used to. I'm still not quite certain with the controls. You have the option of controlling it from the view you're looking at the bike. So if you want them to, let's say they're going down vertically and you want them to like go towards the left side of the screen, you would press left, even though to them that would be them turning their bike to the right. The other control
Oh,
scheme is you would push the analog stick with the turn of the bike. So if you think about that same example, if they're going down vertically and you want them to go to the left side of the screen, you would press right because that would be turning the handlebars right.
I see. Okay.
So you can choose between that. I've been playing with the first one where wherever I point the analog stick, the bike will try to go that direction. And I
Oh,
still am feeling like there's still a disconnect where it's not there's something I don't like about it. And I tried switching it to the other one, but I'm just less interested. I'm like less there's an uncomfort level with that one as well.
yeah.
So definitely there's a learning curve to it. But it's an isometric level based game where you're just kind of going through the path. There's lots of shortcuts you can find. And my one knock against it is first off, there's no music. It's like just sound effects, which is weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
It's odd. I mean, there's a part to it that's like I guess it's calming because you're just kind of hearing like nature sounds and the bike, obviously. And then when your person like groans because they run into a rock.
Yeah.
Um, But so it makes it a great podcast game for sure. The other thing I'm not a huge fan of is you have to play the same mountain over and over and over again, and that's the point. Because what happens is there are different tiers of difficulty you unlock, and you start a beginner, and beginner is just go down the mountain, so you can kind of see what the mountain has to do. Then it goes to like I think it's like intermediate or maybe it's easy, I can't remember, and that'll have 2 challenges where you want to activate the challenges, similar to like skulls in Halo.
Okay.
These are
Yep.
things you want to focus on doing while you go down the same mountain. So for the first mountain, the 2 in there are do it in under 3 minutes, and the second one is do it in under 21 crashes. And you can turn as many of them on as you want. Obviously, it just gets harder and whatnot. Um, but once you've completed enough of the challenges, they'll unlock the next tier for you, which will be harder challenges. And I think if you complete the first 2, the beginner and the easy one, they unlock a new mountain. So I'm just on the second mountain right now. But I'm having a hard time wanting to like keep playing it because as soon as I finish like one trail, it's like, all right, do it again but harder. And it's like, no, I want to see something else, please. But that's not the game. The progression is no, play this same trail like 2 or 3 times in a row at the bare minimum before you get to see something else. So I'm not sure how much more I'll keep playing of it. But I like the way it looks. It kind of looks like Ashen if it was like more brighter colored, but just in terms of like kind of low poly count on everything. No character faces. So it looks a bit like how Ashen looks. But that's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, might as well check it out.
Yeah, I've been wanting to check actually both of them out. So
I played Lowly Mountains Downhill a few months ago. I want to say at like an indie game event here in the city, if I'm remembering correctly.
I do remember you talking about it. Maybe GDC?
Well, it could have been GDC. It also could have been was it like Bit Bash, which actually I think was during the GDC week, so it may have been there as well.
Gotcha.
All right, last game I'm playing this week is an Apple Arcade game called Inmost, which is a
Okay.
puzzle platformer. The puzzles are pretty light. It's more so just figure out your way through the environment, and a lot of the puzzles are kind of just, oh, how do I get to this ledge? Oh, you need to pull the chair over so you can climb on the chair, and then you can climb on the ledge. It's more about just kind of getting through it as opposed to a puzzly aspect of it. Kind of similar to like, an Inside or the game I talked about a few weeks ago, Stella, where those are puzzle platformers, but the puzzles aren't really the draw. It is, they just kind of want you to get through this side scrolling one. This game also this is all 8-bitty, so I wouldn't really compare it to those other games. Stella is a much more Inside like game than this one is. But it's got a cool look. It's like a blue hue to everything, and they do some cool lighting and whatnot. You play 3 different characters. There's a little girl who's inside of a house, and all the themes in this game are like pretty dark. She has some like weird parents and stuff going on. It's kind of a spooky game. You play just like a guy, a nondescript dude with a beard who's just kind of traversing through this like forest slash mine area. And then the weirdest one is you play as a knight, which this involves some like combat. Um, which actually works decently on the touchscreen. The controls are just kind of, either side, doesn't matter what side is on, but if you tap and drag to one direction, the character will move. If you tap, that's how they interact. Or if you're the knight, that's how he will like stab forward or stab if something's in his like stab range. And then if you swipe on the right side of the screen, that'll be a dodge for the knight. So it's actually worked pretty well. I actually played most of it, the first, like, I want to say the full half with the controller, and that was totally fine. Then it took a little getting used to do touchscreen controls, but it evened itself out, and it's fine as well. Um, my one complaint, I was kind of complaining to you about this right before we were recording, is it's a little obtuse sometimes of what it wants you to do next. Sometimes it'll be good about like sparkling or highlighting the thing you should interact with next, but about half the time it doesn't. And I've gotten lost a few times and just had to like restart the checkpoint to see if I like missed a cue or whatnot, or just happened to notice something else. Like I'm stuck right now, and I'm like, I want to say like 85% of the way down the game, so I'm really hoping to figure out what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Um, it's okay. If you have Apple Arcade, free is a good price to play it with. I don't know if I'd spend money on the game myself personally.
Uh-huh.
But that is Inmost. That's one word. It's spelled how you would think it's spelled.
Sure.
And that's all I've been playing. So let's do some news.
Yeah.
Announced, I think yesterday. Let's see.
I think so.
Yes, yesterday. EA is coming back to Steam. This is a pretty
Yeah.
big deal. Starting specifically with Jedi Fallen Order
Yep.
next month. Along with that, they are bringing EA Access to Steam, which EA points out will be the first subscription service on Steam.
Yep.
Which I didn't quite realize. That makes sense. I'm surprised Steam didn't have some kind of subscription service going, since those are all the rage these days.
Yeah, no kidding.
And one question begs to be asked is, does that mean that all of the games that are in EA Access will be coming to Steam? Because that would be a lot of games that have been so far only on Origin coming to Steam for the first time.
It might open up Origin as a launcher. I'm wondering though as well.
I don't know, because they were saying like specifically EA games will be on Steam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might be. That'd be cool.
Because like they point out the whole, so Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is already on pre-order in Steam today. Like you can pre-order it through Steam. So it's having its own Steam like launcher there. That's not going to deal with Origin.
Yeah.
They also call out games like Sims 4, Unravel 2, Apex Legends, FIFA, Battlefield 5 will be available next year. They mentioned players on both Origin and Steam will be able to play together, so that's good.
Yep, that is good.
I'm
Interesting.
curious if this is going to be a separate subscription from your typical EA Access one. I can't imagine it would be, because who would get like two
Yeah, probably
EA
not.
Access subscriptions? Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Guess we'll find out. But that's interesting if those games are coming back to Steam. Like specifically, like that would mean like Anthem would have to come to Steam
Oh, Anthem. Yeah.
because
Yep.
that game is only on Origin. So we'll have to look into that.
Yep.
Death Stranding was announced for PC,
Yeah.
which I think had been kind of hinted at, some kind of rumors and whatnot. But that's coming next year in the summer.
Yeah.
That game is soon, November 8th on PS4.
I was looking at the replies to that because it was on Twitter and people are mad for
I
whatever
did
reason.
see people were mad for whatever reason. I then also saw someone reference a tweet from Phil Spencer, not about this specific um, scenario, but it relates completely. Let me load it up so I can quote it properly.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So the tweet that was covering this one was from someone else saying, seeing a few PlayStation fans upset about Death Stranding coming to PC, and it reminded me of one of my favorite interactions on this site. And it's Phil Spencer responding to someone with a question that says, "You canceled a pre-order for a game you want to play because someone else gets to play the game on Windows?"
Shit.
And I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. It's weird, man. There's people just being like, well, there's no reason to own a PS4 now. It's like, well, I
What are you
mean,
talking about?
it's one of those things where it's like, I guess you're kind of right. If you were only going to buy it now for this, you might as well have waited for a PS5. But like, what?
Yeah, like also, why would that make you angry? Oh crap! Now
Yeah.
I don't have to buy a PS4.
Yeah.
What? I don't I don't understand, you weird person.
So for me, I really don't think I can wait until 2020 summer. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Yep. All right, this next news story is an interesting one. Xbox All Access is a program Microsoft has been doing where you can buy an Xbox One through an installment plan, much like a phone. So you would pay a monthly subscription for an Xbox. I think you also are paying for Gold and maybe Game Pass as well. And it comes out to being the
Oh,
same price. So it's not like it's going to cost you more in the long run. They're just dividing that price by whatever monthly installment you're doing.
sure.
They've had this going for a bit now. They've added on to this initiative by allowing you to do this and then upgrade to a Scarlet when that comes out next year, uh,
Interesting.
which is exactly how phones work.
Yep.
Um, So at the moment, you can pay as low as like $20 a month for 24 months, and that'll include like a console, 24 months of Game Pass Ultimate, which is Game Pass and Gold. And then you
Yeah.
have the option to upgrade to Project Scarlet, which means you will then have a new subscription to pay. They'll just basically stop your current one, start you on a new one, and then you pay for the Scarlet. Um,
Huh.
which is interesting. They have a whole FAQ you can go read if this is something of interest to you. I think you can also do like an 18-month one if you don't want to do the 24-month one, if you want to pay like a bit more each month. But I think that's pretty interesting.
This is interesting for sure. Huh.
Part
Wow.
of me is like, I think I'd just rather buy it outright and just have it done. But then I look at my phone, it's like I pay monthly stuff on my phone. Why do I do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it makes sense. Like like, why not? And I'm sure that's why what Xbox looked at months ago when they first started it, of like, yeah, we could just do that. Let's do that.
Yeah. This is interesting for sure.
Sony is shutting down PlayStation View, which
I'm trying to remember what this is.
I was about to say, does anyone even remember what PlayStation View is?
Is this a thing where you played games on your phone? Like you had the game disc in the drive, but you would like control things on phone?
Nope, that was just like a streaming thing. That app is still available.
Mm.
PlayStation View is their TV service.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Um, so you could, similar to like kind of like YouTube TV, you could pay a monthly thing and watch and get TV channels and sports and whatnot through PlayStation. Which I understand was not doing great for them, clearly, because they are shutting it down January of next year, at the end of January. I don't know anyone who even remotely considered doing this,
Nope. Agreed.
which I think that specifically says a lot. So,
Yep.
and last but not least, this still hasn't been confirmed, but it's been talked about so much. It seems Overwatch 2 is inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
And we are probably going to hear about it on Friday. Interestingly enough, ESPN apparently got hold of some BlizzCon training documents, which mentioned Overwatch 2, had some information, had the logo in it. Again, this is not much of a leak because it seems like this game has been getting leaked for the past few weeks in one way or another, but it confirms the whole PvE focus that like Kotaku discussed months ago. Characters with the leveling progression seems like it'll be a part of it. But yeah, I guess at this point, like I'm ready for an Overwatch 2 for sure. I'm just looking for an excuse to jump in on that game.
Yeah.
And BlizzCon is this weekend,
It
and I'm sure
is.
they'll announce that. And I think the other one is like Diablo 4 seems to definitely be a thing because that keeps getting leaked as well.
Yep.
Uh, so that'll be pretty exciting. Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. I'd have to assume that's what you're wanting from a BlizzCon.
Yeah. It's kind of a make or break BlizzCon for me, so we'll see what happens. I hope Diablo 4 first of all it'll be fucking crazy if they don't announce or show anything about Diablo 4. But I'm pretty sure they will, and I hope it's good.
Yeah, I think it has to. A number of reasons. One, like last year, people were pretty disappointed with them just talking about the mobile game.
Yeah.
Although now that I think about it, that mobile game should come to Apple Arcade.
Yeah. It
And while I
should.
say
You're right.
that, every video game should come to Apple Arcade if it's going on mobile,
Yeah.
because then I don't have to buy it.
Overwatch 2 should be on Apple Arcade.
Sure, I mean I'm still gonna get it on Xbox, but why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing, of course, is like those protests, the
Yeah.
boycotting Blizzard.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. This is going to be an interesting spot to watch this weekend, and we will definitely talk about it next week for sure.
I hope nobody gets hurt. That's my only thing.
For sure. Yeah, I hope. Here's my question. Do you think Blizzard addresses it?
No. Especially
Not at
like
all?
especially because like they don't even have the open Q&A panel anymore. You have to like send questions in and they'll answer questions that they curate.
I mean, that's probably a good plan because I don't think
Yeah.
anything good would have come through. But do you think they just come out and like address the situation and try and get ahead of it?
They should definitely. It would be the smart thing to do, but I don't know that they will. They should though, for sure.
Yeah, it is such a question mark. I am so curious about what happens on Friday. Like I'm just going to be like watching
Yep.
the internet and Twitter quite a bit. So we shall see.
Yep.
All right, that's going to do it for news. Let's do some questions.
Okay.
If people want to send in questions, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box. Oh, actually, before that, you have some game stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay. So PS Plus games for November: Neo and Outlast 2. Makes sense since Neo 2's not beta. I guess beta starts in November as well, so that makes sense that they would do the cross promotion thing. And Epic starting tomorrow, Soma and Costume Quest, both games I love, so you should check those out. And I'm sure Xbox will have something as well, but I couldn't find anything on it.
Oh no, they did announce it. Yeah, it's out there.
Did they?
It's a Sherlock Holmes game.
Okay.
There's a Star Wars game. I don't remember the rest because at this point it's not really interesting. Game Pass is interesting.
Yeah, I was looking for Game Pass stuff, not the gold.
They haven't announced a Game Pass.
Yeah.
Thing. You looking for more Game Pass stuff already? They just gave you Outer Worlds, man. Give them a break.
It was really good. And 4 other ones. That was a good week for Game Pass.
Yeah, Minute was another one.
Yeah, Minute was there. And something else I can't remember.
Friendly Neighbor. Is that what it's called? See, what's the neighbor one?
I don't remember. That was
remember. The other game.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that like quasi spooky game about the creepy neighbor. that was the other one. Anyway. This first one comes in from Jacket K. Do you have any advice with house hunting or even apartment hunting? I do find myself struggling finding a lot of affordable options that are around where I work.
Ugh. Time and patience. It's the worst. Finding a place that... It's a big decision, so you have to be sure of it, and you just gotta... unfortunately have to wait for something to pop up. Maybe ask around if you have like friends or whatever that might know of something under the table. Yeah, I don't really have any good advice for house hunting. Just keep on it. Get alerts set up on your phone for like certain sites or whatever if you can.
Yeah, I've always used like Facebook groups and stuff that are about housing in the area.
Sure.
Or a lot of the times, I know a lot of my friends, it will be kind of like, hey, my roommate's moving out, and then they'll know a friend that is looking for a new spot. And it's like, hey, do you want to be my new roommate? I got a room opening up. And that way you at least know the person. Some tips I think we could give is like when you're checking out the place, things to do, check it out in the evening, the area. See what it's like when it's dark out. Like how noisy the area is, if there's like weird people hanging around the area, like go check out the building or whatever at night to see what the difference is. Don't just check it out during the day.
Sure.
I'd also recommend opening every single drawer and cabinet and looking at all the back corners for mold.
Yep, that's smart.
Those things will definitely hide there, and you definitely have you want to know about that stuff going into it as opposed to finding it later.
Yeah.
Stuff like I turn on every tap just to see like is the water running like properly or not dirty. Flush the toilet. Just flush it once, see if that works properly. If anything weird happens with that.
Sure.
Same with like turning on the shower. I just try to like use whatever I can. The windows, open and close the windows. Do they close properly? Or do they work? Can they latch shut? Stuff like that. I think you should test all that stuff out for sure.
Agreed.
But being more selective on where you're going to go is definitely going to limit your options. It seems like you're wanting to be near work, which I'm sure is probably a like popular spot, so it's going to get more expensive for sure. Like I know in the Bay Area, getting one near public transportation definitely jumps the price up significantly.
Sure.
So I don't really have any ways of getting around that for the most part. Like that's just how the market goes.
Agreed. VGC Kenny says Sean generally recommends the latest things just so the person he's recommending to is part of the zeitgeist. However, last night I had a conversation with a roommate because about how that's not always the best idea. It can result in hype backlash and ignore it because there's too much praise, or realizing you don't like something, you only got into it because it was popular. If you insist on being part of the zeitgeist, what are some ways to avoid these problems? Also, what things do you think are better once they're less zeitgeist-y? um, if you insist on being part of the zeitgeist, you're always going to have a different opinion on something than when it's out of the zeitgeist, just because the hype thing is very real, for sure. For better or for worse, like he says, it could be one of these, like, well, I was expecting more of it, and I was kind of let down or whatever because people keep talking about it. Or it could be one of these things that, like, you want to be part of the conversation on it while it's happening. I guess you can't avoid them. It's one of those things that if you want to be part of the conversation, you kind of need to do it when people are talking about it the most.
Right. That's
And
the thing is if you want to be part of the zeitgeist, it's most likely because you want to be up to date with it while people are talking about it. You want to be part of that conversation.
yeah,
Um, I'm trying to think. I haven't had too many things get like overhyped for me. I feel like you have.
I mean, it's the reason why I still haven't played Sekiro, because I was sick of people talking about it when it came out, and then other shit just started coming out when the zeitgeist ended.
So, do you have ways of like when things are starting to get hyped to avoid that while still playing it in I don't want to say like in a timely manner, but in a more zeitgeist timeline?
Yeah, I no longer follow a lot of video game people just in general, and I ignore most things about video games just in general when I want to get into it, to the point where I won't even watch trailers sometimes.
And then that second part, what things do you think are better once they're less zeitgeisty?
Oh, that I mean that's super subjective, but
Yeah, I mean the game's going to be cheaper.
cheaper. Yeah, that's the better
Yeah,
thing, the price.
that's a big one for sure. There's going to be a deal on the game probably.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know if I can think of many. Like I guess the essential question is, what is the advantage to playing a game like 6 months after it's out? Because to me, I can think of some disadvantages, like the multiplayer might have dried up,
Yep. It might be dead
or the
completely.
multiplayer might have gotten so good you're just going to get creamed.
Yeah. Um yeah. If
The game will probably run better. It'll have been patched probably a few
sure.
times.
Yep. Mhm.
That's a big one for sure. And that's probably like the biggest draw for waiting, because I could say that for hardware as well too. Like
Yeah.
maybe don't get a console at launch because there's some bugs to work out that's going to be in a revision.
Yep. Um Also, if you're having issues getting pass apart, there's been a community that has probably found ways around something in the game, or like walkthroughs or min-maxing guides. Like people had already
Sure.
mined all that stuff out for you.
Yep, that's definitely true. Honestly, like if you're trying to be like the smartest shopper you can be, I
Yeah,
think waiting is the way to go.
all the time. Yep.
Yeah. But it all comes down to like how much do you weigh being a part of that conversation?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and then like as you said in the question, me personally, I weigh that very heavily. I want that. It also helps because I'm on a weekly podcast. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but that has just always been kind of my thing is like I want to be talking about it when people are talking about it. Also, if I wait for too long, there's going to be another game that came out,
True.
and I want to play that.
Yep.
Like I can't just keep waiting. Games
They
don't
don't
stop.
stop. They don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Boko writes, you are legally mandated to only play one continuous content slash MMO game for the rest of your life. What game do you choose? A caveat, if support for said game stops, you may choose a new game.
I mean, wow. I basically already have, so.
You would choose WoW. You wouldn't choose like Destiny at this point.
No, Destiny's way too samey.
I'm trying to think. Destiny's probably like the closest MMO, closest to an
Mm.
MMO I've played. So maybe that. It's probably either like WoW for me, Overwatch, or like Apex Legends.
Okay, sure.
It'll be one of those three. And then luckily with like Overwatch 2's coming out, so I can transition to that one.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Final Insanity says, what's the most you feel you can be spoiled on a game before you can no longer say you're playing it blind? My opinion on this is simple. Unless something is mechanically spoiled for you, you can say you're playing it blind, because I find games are more about you actually interacting with it than story stuff.
But what if you're playing like a story focused game, like a visual novel?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't generally respect those as video games as much, for that
What those
reason, because they
those
can
are
be
video
spoiled.
games? What are you talking about? Like I'm thinking like what about like Life is Strange?
The fact that like somebody could tell me how Life is Strange ends and it takes away a big reason to play that game makes me respect it less as a video game. Doesn't mean anything about the story. It's just that the interaction part is important for me.
Okay. Yeah, I can't agree with that one, but I mean you do you.
Hmm.
Um I don't know. I don't know if I can think of like a line in the sand where it's like I'm no longer playing it blind because like watching a trailer I wouldn't say would be too much,
Sure.
or a series of trailers I don't think that would be too much.
It's hard, and it's a very game to game thing.
Yeah, I feel like if someone had told me about like a major moment or something, and this is just so like ethereal, like if there's something that I felt would have been meaningful to know
Yeah.
or to not know, then it's too much. But I'm like that like I just answered the question with I'm no longer saying it's blind when I'm no longer blind. Like that's
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
how to
yeah.
answer the question.
It's super subjective too, for sure. Uh
Conqueror writes favorite scary movie, book, show, or game.
okay. Scary book is probably the hardest for me. Um Scary show is kind of hard too, actually. I grew up loving Are You Afraid of the Dark, so that has a special place in my heart for show. Um for game, Resident Evil, the HD remaster or the GameCube version, whatever you want to call it. Scary movie, like maybe Halloween. I don't know about book though. I've never found a book particularly scary, I guess.
See, the ones I'm gonna say are like not gonna be that scary because I don't like scary stuff.
Okay,
So like scary show, I don't know, like Stranger Things.
that's a good answer. Sure.
Uh, game. I can't even like think of one. I don't know. Limbo. Does that count?
Sure.
Like no. Book. Can't think of a book. Movie. I guess I enjoyed watching Let Me In the first time. The one
Okay,
time I saw it with
sure.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Sure.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
That works. Yogurt Sapien says, similar to Street Fighter 2 and Super Smash Bros. Melee, what other game series has an older game that is just as, if not more popular than its most current game?
I don't know if
Oh.
it's still the case, but Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood were definitely the high points of that series for a long time.
Mm. Odyssey and Origins were pretty popular too, though.
That's what I'm saying, is I don't know if that's
Yeah.
still the case, but
Yeah.
especially like once Origins came, I think that may have changed it.
Yeah. There I don't know how good the new Modern Warfare is doing. There's something to be said about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was like the biggest forever.
Okay. I thought people were pretty into the Black Ops.
And Black Ops, yeah. Fortnite.
What?
Exactly.
Maybe some of the Pokemon games. I know personally I prefer some of the older ones more than the current ones that come out.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the general community feels about that.
Yeah. Um I
I
think
bet
Final
Halo. I
Fantasy.
bet the more earlier ones are definitely more well regarded.
Yep.
Like 3 was the biggest game ever, right?
Yep. I think Final Fantasy as well. People always
Sure.
talk about certain
Although I'm
ones that
hearing
are
more and
older.
more that 14 is the greatest Final Fantasy game ever.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew writes, which is better, a professor who is a master of their field but who cannot teach, or a professor who is a novice in their field but can teach?
Novice. 100%.
Yeah, I feel like it's the novice as well.
Yep. Teaching is a skill set that if you get a bad teacher, it can ruin you forever, even if they are the most well known. Because it
I'm
doesn't.
curious how the first one would work though. Like you get an idiot professor. Well, I guess in this scenario they're not an idiot. They just have no way of like communicating all their knowledge properly. Like that would suck
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. That's useless to me though.
Sure.
Like as
But
someone trying to
the
learn.
way the other one's useless is you're not getting much knowledge. You're getting a very low amount of knowledge communicated
Yeah.
exceptionally well to you.
You're getting like a peer. I guess the answer is both of these are helpful. The first one when you're starting a field to like get you introduced, but then the master when you finally know like the basics is probably able to just like you're able to learn from just by experience. So the like answer is kind of both, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's like a would you rather. I guess I'd still prefer the bottom one.
Me too.
Yeah.
Final question from Lucas. What's your favorite Castlevania game and why? What's your least favorite and why? Game must be a Castlevania game and not inspired by or any other Metroidvania game. So my favorite's Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse.
I guess my favorite is Symphony of the Night.
Least favorite is probably 2, Simon's Quest.
The Game Boy one.
Oh yeah, the Game Boy ones for sure. Either one of them, frankly.
They're really bad. I also don't like the first 2 Castlevanias, but those Game Boy ones are just phenomenally bad.
And then third question, no repeats. You three are part of Scooby-Doo. Who is whom? I think we all agree Sean is Fred.
What?
John is probably Shaggy.
Here's the question. Here's the question. Are we they didn't say the Scooby-Doo gang, so are we a part of the dog Scooby-Doo?
Oh, are we the ones that get foiled by those meddling kids?
I guess you could I don't know. You could pick that. Can I be the bats from the intro song that fly at the camera?
Sure. I still think John is Shaggy.
But he's not a pothead.
Not yet.
Shaggy is high all the time.
True.
So is Scooby-Doo. Shaggy hotboxes the mystery machine with Scooby-Doo in it on a daily basis. That's canon.
I'm probably Velma. Frankly.
Velma? Okay. I did enjoy Fred in the Mystery Incorporated series, and he had a weird fixation on traps. He just loved traps, and I thought that was quite funny.
Shit. It's pretty good.
All right, that's going to do it for questions this week. If you want to send in questions for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Outer Worlds, 100%.
Yeah, Outer Worlds over here too, for sure. All right, things to keep in mind. We did the TDP plus episode of Dicey Dungeons earlier than usual
Mm-mm.
because we wanted John to be on it. So we did that last night. So that episode is already up. So if you're a subscriber, go over and listen to that. If also you're a Patreon subscriber, uh, tomorrow is the last day to vote on what November's game will be. So if you haven't voted, go over to the Patreon and help us decide what game we are going to play next month.
Yeah.
Until then, we'll be back next week. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
See ya.
Woo.
Yeah. I'm going to go download Luigi's Mansion right now.